Erik with Fullmont MMA, joined today by the Ultimate Fighter 29 winner, Bryan Battle. Bryan, how are things?
Man, dude, things are going, man. You know what I'm saying? We're just training, getting better, just taking everything one day at a time, How about yourself?
I'm doing great. It's great to talk to you, especially about 3-ish weeks after a pretty impressive win over Takashi Sato at your welterweight debut.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's old news now. You know what I'm saying? We got to start getting ready for the next thing. You know what I'm saying? That was 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? There's been two other head kick knockouts since then. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, the most prolific one I'm sure you're referring to is the Leon Edwards one over Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I tell you what, I mean, that was pretty sensational what Leon did in there, and with like 50 seconds left too in a championship fight that he was losing. I mean, that's just like one of those things why you love the sport. You know what I'm saying? It's totally unpredictable and anything can happen at any time. So yeah, no, it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those fights you almost, getting into the fifth round, you're going to turn it off because you're like, oh, you know how this is going to go. And then that's why MMA is so spectacular because you keep watching and then that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think like we were just having like a casual conversation, like probably like talking about like what happens next after this fight, and then out of so all of a sudden like that happens, and you have to like stop everything you're doing. You have to be like, wait a minute, whoa, what just happened? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, dude, I mean that was tremendous.
Well, I was in public watching it on my phone, making an absolute fool of myself when that happened. So
I mean, dude, I believe it, bro. Where were you at, dude? Where were you watching it?
I was at an airport about to board a plane, almost missed my
Oh,
boarding time watching the fifth round. So I was about to turn it off, and then the head kick happened, and almost
yikes.
did the do not fly list with the noises that I was making.
Yikes. I mean, dude, I mean, that would have been worth it. I mean, to me, though, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been, like, I understand if you would have got kicked off of a plane because of that happening. I mean, it's pretty shocking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet if you're a Kamaru Usman fan, that's like, it could be borderline traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have trauma from that for the rest of your life. But, you know, bless our hearts, but, Kamaru, I hate to see it too, because he was such a good champion. He did so many great things, and then it's like the moment he makes a mistake in the 24th minute of a world title fight against like one of the most dangerous guys in the world. You know what I'm saying? Even someone like him could become a meme. So it's kind of sobering when you think about it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not the end of his journey. I mean, you certainly think he'll be back, right?
Oh yeah, of course. He'll probably. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch the next fight because I'm sure like Leon's probably as confident as ever, and he'll probably come in the best version of himself for the next fight. But I mean, Kamaru was winning that fight like 3 rounds to 1. Probably would have won the fifth round too. I mean, if it went to decision. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see the rematch.
Yeah, of course. Well, appreciate your thoughts on that. I definitely want to
Yeah,
talk a little bit about you.
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know it just went off.
No, I mean,
Oh,
I asked about it, but I mean, you said it was old news at this point. It was about 3 weeks ago. Has anything changed for you since getting that highlight finish?
um, nothing of any like significance. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my life had like the past year has been crazy. Anyways, I mean, you know, newlywed. You know what I'm saying? We just had a baby. Like we had a baby like 2 months after the tough finale. So, my nephew moved in with us. So it's just life in general has just been crazy. So, um, I'd say the only thing that's changed is like people's perception, like the average the people who do know who I am, who are fans of MMA, like the average person's perception of me, and how many people recognize me, which isn't a ton of people. It's not too much more dramatically more than it was before, but it's a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? We're trending in the right direction. So yeah.
Well, you said after that fight that Pooh Bear is dead, and you want to be called the Butcher. Is that official? Is that the new nickname for you?
I'm just saying I'd respond to it if you said it. You know what I mean? Um, but I mean, no, it's the the stage of like where I was in life when Pooh Bear was a thing is just like it was just such a different. Like I really was a different person. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I recognized when I got to the UFC that and I did the best. I did what I had to do, what I thought I had to do at the time. But, when I got to the UFC, I realized that I had to be something different in order to compete with these guys, in order to, beat these guys and to get where I wanted to go. I had to be something different. And so that's kind of, in that time of training and getting better and just changing, how I look and, my mentality going into the cage. I mean, it just kind of, like things kind of evolved. I didn't feel like the same dude I was. So that's why I said, I tell people, Pooh Bear's dead, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm a different dude. I'm more cold, man. I'm a vicious motherfucker, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming out there and taking off people's heads. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Pooh Bear's dead. It's a butcher now.
Is it almost because it feels like before you said you had to kind of, act a little bit different to, make yourself stand out a little bit, prove that you belong? Do you feel that you fully, I mean, clearly in your performances, I would say that you do, but do you finally feel fully that you belong with these elite fighters in the UFC now?
Yeah, well, what I'll say is, I always felt like I was a UFC caliber fighter. But now I feel like I'm someone who can thrive in the UFC. Like I've gotten, like, I'm not someone who's here who's just gonna be like a tough guy. You know what I'm saying? Someone who's just like a tough, like, creative guy. Like now my athleticism is up there with, the athletic guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm just as fast as anybody. I'm just as strong as anybody. I'm hitting hard as a mother right now. So like I'm not just someone who is here, but I'm someone who's a threat. You know what I mean? I'm someone that people, if they're not nervous about fighting me, they need to be nervous about fighting me. I don't think that was the case before. I wouldn't have been nervous about fighting me. You know what I'm saying? Like watching my old stuff, that wouldn't have been a fight that would have scared me a whole lot. Like now I'm a scary fighter, and it's like a nickname that reflects that.
Do you think that your time on The Ultimate Fighter, I mean, going through that grueling process, I'm sure it's physically taxing, unlike anything I could ever imagine. Do you think that had something to do with this transformation that you're describing?
The Ultimate Fighter, that was crazy. And no, not really as much, because the Ultimate Fighter, like that's really the thing about that. You are who you are during that competition. Like, I would say the coolest thing about being on the show was just being around Volk and seeing where I needed to go to, be a world champion. But like, when you're on Tough, you're there for 5 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You don't really have a whole lot of time to like really do a ton of changing. You kind of are who you are. But I would say, afterwards, having a family, you know what I'm saying, just like getting more mature, you know what I'm saying, realizing, what it is at this level, you know what I'm saying, like, people get signed and cut all the time, you know what I mean, like, if you get any kind of momentum, you know what I'm saying, someone's going to be trying to take your momentum. So it's a very like cold game, you know what I'm saying. It's it's cool, it seems like fun to be there, but someone's always coming for what you got, and you have to remember that. So and there's stuff like that that keeps me in the gym. So I would just say, like, life in general, like nothing with getting to the UFC or whatever, but just like what's just happened in my own personal life has really had more of an effect with me changing more than going through Tough and getting to the UFC.
Is your time at middleweight done? Are you sticking at welterweight?
For the foreseeable future, yeah. I'll stay at welterweight until either I feel like I can't make welterweight anymore, or if I get bored at welterweight, which either way would be great. You know what I'm saying? Because if I get bored at welterweight, that means that I've beaten all the other welterweights. So that's not something that would happen for like a very, very long time, and if I couldn't make welterweight, that'd be cool, because that just means I'm getting bigger and I'm stronger, and I need to go up to 185 and beat up some of those guys. So, but for the foreseeable future, I think welterweight's the most optimal weight division for me. So, yeah, I'll be chilling there.
How's the weight cut in comparison? I know you've been asked this before, but like, was you were not a small middleweight, at least visually.
No.
So like, was that an easier cut for you at middleweight? So you thought, hey, I could get some more out of my body to go down to welterweight, or is it really like a very, very challenging cut to get to 170 now?
I honestly, it's about the same as when I was cutting to 85. Because when I was cutting to 85 at first, like I used to walk around about 210 pounds. And so it was a pretty decent cut whenever I cut down to 185. Like if I ever got to 200 pounds, if I got below 205 pounds before I started my water cut, I was usually pretty happy with that. Um, but then after being on the finale, I was able to just train more, and my weight just gradually, my walking around weight just went down. And so when I fought Trey, I didn't even have to cut. I didn't have to spend any time in the sauna. I water loaded. Um, I still did workouts with the sauna, the sweatsuit on and whatnot. But I didn't have to spend any time in the sauna. And it was just kind of weird. It felt like I was missing, it's like I didn't suffer enough before my fight, I wasn't all the way prepared for battle. So, but with that being said too, I also was like, man, if I don't have to get into the sauna to make 185, I was like, I wonder if I can make welterweight. So not too long after my fight with Trey, my weight didn't go back up. And so I was like, screw it, I'll do a test cut. I did a test cut like several weeks after I fought Trey. It went well. I messaged my manager. I was like, yo, I'm a welterweight now. So that's just the thing. That's how it is. What I'm saying? We're 170, baby.
Well, after the 44-second win, it didn't look like you took any damage in there, but we never know watching on TV. Did you walk away from that fight unscathed and uninjured?
Unscathed, uninjured, man, dude. My hair was flowing beautifully. You know what I'm saying? My skin was glistening, and it was perfect, man. Yeah, no, there was zero issues. It was great.
So are you ready to take a fight like pretty much immediately now?
More or less, yeah. I mean, I'm walking around mid 90s right now. I'm training right now. Um, you know, I'm not doing hard rounds and going crazy like if I did have a fight, but I'm still in really good shape. And if I saw an opportunity pop up, like someone fell out of a fight, that don't be surprised if you saw me jump in there. You know what I'm saying? But I think the big thing is just like stay prepared, but just to keep on getting better right now. Not to be in fight mode, but just improvement mode. I should get one more fight before the end of the year, so that's really what I'm thinking about. So, just getting better right now. Working on, and that's the one frustrating thing about having a fight end so soon is you want to go back and watch the tape and look at some things you can get better at, but the positive is bittersweet because you can't find things to get better at, but also your opponents can't really find any holes to exploit because there wasn't anything to exploit in 44 seconds. So we'll just come out and you can expect me to look even more impressive next time I'm out there.
Are Ian Gary and Bryan Barberena still the preferred opponents for your next fight?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. Either one of them, you know what I'm saying? Let's do them both before the end of the year. You know what I mean? One in October, one in December. Let's go. Come on, let's get it going.
I'd love to see it happen. But you talked in the beginning of the interview about how obviously crazy this last year has been for you, winning the Ultimate Fighter, getting a couple wins in the UFC, and then obviously something that could be up there with Knockout of the Year when this year comes to a close. But let's give yourself another year. It's the end of August right now. The end of August 2023. Where do you see yourself? Where would you like to be? What is your goal by that time?
This time next year, I need to be ranked. I need to be ranked. You know, in fighting, you never want to rush things. Things happen at the time they're supposed to happen, but I want to just keep on with every fight. Push my status forward a little bit more. And so if I can get beyond that, we can do something. I mean, really, but there's only really one thing beyond being ranked, and that's fighting for the title. So, which is kind of surreal to think about sometimes that that's at the end of the railroad somewhere. You know what I'm saying? If you can get to that point, that's there. But yeah, by next year I want to be ranked. I'd like to fight one more time before the end of this year, and then at least 3 times next year, maybe 4 times. So I think we can do some damage if that can happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I love it. You're certainly on the right track. The fans love you. Seems like the UFC thinks very highly of you, and now you're getting the finishes to boot. I mean, I can't think of anything that would stop you, honestly.
Hey man, we'll see. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that can stop me is me. So I gotta just stay on the grind, stay humble, stay working and stay taking these dudes' heads off,
Well said. Bryan, before I let you go here, those are all the questions that I had. I wanted to give you the floor. Anything you wanted to promote, teammates, sponsors, any closing messages? The floor is yours.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Shout out to my boy Kendall. He's fighting tomorrow. Showcase MMA. If you're not doing anything, go check my boy out. Carolina Combat Sports. If you're in Carolina, check out the gym. Head coach Tom Ziegler. He's been my coach since day one. We've been doing things, a lot of the conceptual things I have, everything. The foundation of the bulk of my game is stuff that Sensei Tom taught me. So, you could be learning the same stuff I learned and training with me and whatnot. You come over and get some work done at Carolina Combat. The shout out to my big bro Keith, Coach James, Coach John at Charlotte Jiu-Jitsu. But yeah, that's it, man. All right, you have a good one. All right,
appreciate it. There you have it, Bryan Battle, the Butcher. Bryan, best of luck. It was great talking to you.
Thank you, man. You do too.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. If you like our content, be sure to subscribe to Full Man MMA. And while you're at it, make sure to hit the bell icon as well so you never miss an update from us.